heard you, Sonia.
Okay, got it. You wanna come on this side?
Trustee, I can't hear her.
All right, they're fixing it right now. She's just gonna move a little bit closer to take attendance. No, right here.
Oh. We got Trustee Ramos, Dr. Little,
Present.
Trustee Dopplemore, Trustee Calhoun,
Present.
President Lopez,
Present.
Dr. Curry,
Present. All right, moving on to item number 2 for approval of closed session agenda. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Dr. Little and seconded by Trustee Ramos. Do we have any discussion? Trustee Ramos.
No discussion.
Dr. Little,
No discussion.
Trustee Doppelmore's not here. Trustee Calhoun?
No discussion.
See, no discussion. If you could please, board members, we ask you to vote online. It was moved by Dr. Little and seconded by Trustee Ramos.
The prompt has not come up yet. Has it come up for everyone else? It has not come up for me yet.
No.
Not
Okay.
yet.
I just want to make sure.
Over here. I think yours- this is- She hasn't activated it yet. Once she activates it, it pops up.
Okay, no worries. I just wanted to make sure that I was connected appropriately.
Yes. So, no, sorry, I was talking to someone here, but yes. So it's popped up on your.
Yes,
Yeah, I see it.
yes, thank you.
Doppelmore will probably not have this set up. in time.
for what to vote?
So we would need a verbal vote from you. To
Not all night,
approval,
right?
to just until you're set up for the approval of session, closed session.
Okay. Thank
You would just have to say yes or no.
Got it. Now, yes.
That's unanimous yes vote for everybody. So moving on to item number 3, request to address the Board of Trustees on closed session agenda matters. 3.01, do we have anyone to address the board on closed session agenda matters? Seeing no one, moving on to item 3.02, Compton Community College District Board of Trustees future agenda items request. Board members, do you have anything? Trustee Ramos.
I do not. Thank you.
Dr. Little?
No, we will have an opportunity later in the meeting, correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
Trustee Doppelmore?
Yes, just continuing an update on the proposed curriculum and the exploration of future curriculum items or possible classes.
Trustee Calhoun?
Yes, I would like for future agenda to put on about the outreach persons that are doing the outreach for Compton Unified, Linwood, and Paramount Unified School District to give the entire board an outlook of what's happening at each one of the schools, the high schools, and also possibly if we have a bulletin board at each one of the schools that is up to date with all of our information. That's one. And I'd also like to be placed on the agenda exactly how many high school students from Paramount, Linwood, and Compton Unified attend Compton College than they do Cerritos. If you can find that information out, because from what I understand of all the schools, more of the students are going to Cerritos than coming to Compton. So I would like to see what enhances them to go to Cerritos and not come to Compton. What are they offering that we are not offering that they're interested in? And I have one more. I would like for there to be a presentation about, for future agenda, about labor study courses. And, I keep asking about it, but I never asked for it to be agendized. So now I'm asking for it to be agendized about presentation about offering labor study courses for certificate or a degree for people to get their AA in labor law. And if anybody needs any information, if you have to contact Trade Tech, the number is 213-763-7129, or you can go to the email at GARCIAOA, the number 2 at lattc.edu if you need some information about how that can be presented at our agenda.
All right, moving on to item number 4, recess to closed session in accordance with Ralph M. Brown Act. Board members, if you can transition to those in person to the room adjacent and those virtually to the Zoom link. Thank you. And I call this meeting to order. If we can please do a roll call.
Trustee Ramos,
Present.
Dr. Little,
Present.
Present.
Trustee Calhoun, President Lopez,
Present.
Dr. Curry.
Here.
All right, if we can please stand and if trustee Calhoun can lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
She wrote on this jacket. She paid attention to that. And she didn't spell my name correctly. She was a bookkeeper and she was giving me checks every 2 weeks. Basically, she knew how to spell my name correctly. So she did that for a purpose because she knew what she's gonna say just in case. That's what she said. After it was a check, sent it back to me from the bank. I told her, right, what are you gonna do? You're fine, we don't see each other. It was a gift. He said, right, it was a gift.
Moving on to item number 6, report of actions taken in closed session pursuant to Government Code Section 54857.1. There is nothing to report. Item number 701, Compton Community College District Resolution number 07/18/2022A, continuing Board of Trustees authority to hold virtual meetings pursuant to Assembly Bill 361, open meetings, state and local agencies, teleconferences. Do I have a motion?
Move.
Second.
Been moved by trustee Ramos and seconded by Dr. Little. Do we have any discussion? Trustee Ramos?
No discussion.
Dr. Little?
No discussion.
More? No discussions. Trustee Calhoun?
Mr. Malik.
No discussion, I'll say it at the end.
Seeing no discussion, if we could do a roll call, please.
To vote online.
Board members, please prepare for the vote online.
Unanimous yes vote.
Moving on to item number 8, approval of open session agenda. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Okay.
It's been moved by Dr. Little and seconded by trustee Ramos. Do we have any discussion? Trustee Ramos?
No discussion.
Little?
No discussion.
Trustee Dopplemore? No discussion. Trustee Calhoun?
No discussion.
Seeing no discussion, board members, if you cast your vote online.
That's a unanimous yes vote.
Moving on to item number 9 for recognitions, 9.01 2022 Presidential Scholars Award recipients. Dr. Curry.
Thank you very much. We have the pleasure tonight to recognize 5 of our students here today. Is it 5 or 4? 4 of our students here today who will receive the Presidential Scholars Award, which is for outstanding graduating student with a 3.7 GPA or higher, who have completed 60 or more units. We had the academic deans and also the vice president review the application and work on the recommendation that they're going forward. These 5 students are $1,000 each for being a presidential scholar, and they're also receiving a medallion and a certificate. So I will call the students up and we will take a picture here on this side. Actually, let's do that. So the board can come up front and then we can have a student come on stage as well.
She also put PlayStation that she took at the time. As Trevino says, that there was no set rent.
Yeah, tonight, to recognize is Arno Arbero.
She called you. What did you say to her? What did she say to you? I said that we talked to Ryan because Ryan and I are in the house together. Ryan and I both left, so that left me with the house to myself. And I told him Ryan and discussed that now. And he said $400 and I called back out and explained to him that $200 would go to me every month, $200 would go to Ryan every month. That was a real and she put it in money anyways. June. Should they round $200?
Gazelle Lawrence.
Congratulations. That's hard work.
Karina Reyes. Yeah. You got one more. Brooklyn Spencer.
Down somebody, take a picture. Move there. Over here. Here you go. Oh, almost there. Okay. They have been excited. Congratulations. Hard work, pays off.
Come on, take it. Yeah, you want one. Did it right there?
There you go, there you go.
You know, they should last person, I'm that person here. But there's no check. Oh. Is Max here? Max Castro? Oh, wait, wait. Mark Castro, sorry. Oh, Mark, he's on.
Yes, he's gonna come up there.
Now, any family member want to do a family photo, we'll do that right in a couple seconds. You just start to come up to the stage. You stay right here. So those are all these pictures come up first, and then I know I have a couple family shots.
You guys can just come down on this side. Oh, no, we don't want to be in the family. No, this is a group. This is a group. Oh, okay, okay. Come on. Yep, I got it. Oh, he's good. Now the
So
family.
now the families, so who wants to?
Their family there.
Anybody else?
Moving on to item number 10 for request to address the Board of Trustees on agenda and non-agenda matters. Do we have anyone to address the board?
We have, I see.
We have Mr. Rodney Lister for 14.03.
We'll come to you with the agenda items.
Yeah, it doesn't public comment.
I know, but we talked earlier, because he's a part of our oversight committee, he wants to speak on the item when it's on the agenda. So in the board.
The consent agenda item?
It's on the consent agenda item, but you can speak on it when it comes to consent, or you speak on it during public comment.
If you want public comment, that's it right now.
You can do it with the consent.
If you said public comment was fine, why not now?
If you want
Who else is on?
Lanisha Hodo.
Hello. Hello. My name is Lanisha Hodo, and I am the founder. Can you hear me?
Is it green?
Yes.
It is? Okay.
I'm the founder and executive director of Associated Mothers in Action. So first, I would like to thank the board for their time and attention, and also their dedication to the Compton Community College, as well as the surrounding community. As a Compton native, I recognize the need for the that struggles with equity in the food system. I founded this organization to combat our food system using agriculture as the tools to do so. We promote health and wellness to the community by empowering its members to heal our soil, grow their own food, and in turn prepare healthier meals to combat all of the ailments that plague many of the residents in this city. In doing so, we are providing greater access to quality food. We are developing a community garden, a school garden, and hopefully motivating the community to garden at home as well. On this journey, I recognize the need to reach our youth. Again, using agriculture as the tool, Associated Mothers in Action is encouraging students to go to college through the school garden, using the school garden. We promote the usage of skills students already possess to enhance the development of the agricultural space while strengthening their capabilities. The goal of Associated Mothers in Action is to motivate our community. We want to promote equity in our food system by providing greater access. We want to guide our youth to a quality education while encouraging health and wellness in this community. Thank you.
Mr. McCurlin Black.
Hello? Hi. Okay, thank you to the Board of Trustees. Appreciate your time today. My comment is not necessarily for the board. This is for the general public regarding some of the enthusiasm during the course of our campaign. Mrs. Holyfield spent the last 7 years of her life fighting to get her name restored to the Compton College Library. We all know this in the community. However, I will say that by no means would she approve the call to remove our first elected board from office since the conservatorship of El Camino. She would not approve the removal of Dr. Curry. No matter what happens in the next 90 days, regardless of your vote, the future of this college is paramount. Our independence is more important. We would never take any action that would threaten the progress of any of the students currently enrolled or future enrolled or past enrolled. Yes, we will continue our campaign. I thank the community for their passion, but I also beg everyone to remain reasonable and to remember that our current board, our current administration, were not the individuals responsible. Those responsible are from the outside and from anyone who studies colonialism. In colonialism, what happens? They come to our communities, they take away our leaders, they erase our history, they leave and they say, "You're welcome." I will continue to support Mrs. Holyfield's name to be restored on the Compton College Library. And I will continue to appreciate all the support from all the communities and all the surrounding cities. Thank you and have a good evening.
Joey King.
Good evening. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. My comment is for hopefully a future response from the board. The money being poured into the physical or the PE complex and the sports facilities on campus lend to an opportunity for you to reach out to youth sports organizations to come to the campus, be immersed into the way of life on Compton College, so that it is not a foreign entity when they go to high school and graduate, as it appears to be currently. So all I'm asking in short is that you open the doors to youth facilities to use some of those existing facilities, the ones that aren't going to necessarily be remodeled during the process over the next 3 years, i.e. the football stadium or football field and the track. I ask that you open those up to youth organizations, and if you
if possible, I'd like to have a discussion with any board members up to Dr. Curry about organizations that have already expressed an interest in having their sports activities at your campus. Thank you.
That was the last speaker. For Compton Community College District Board of Trustees, future agenda items for board members. Trustee Ramos? Trustee Ramos? Dr. Little?
No, I couldn't really hear the question.
We're on 10.02, Compton
Right.
Community College District Board of Trustees, future agenda items request.
Okay,
None.
go ahead, trustee Ramos.
Oh, no, I have none. Thank you.
Okay, I did want to, similar to what was raised prior, is our continued conversation about expanded curricula. And I know that there are a lot of different programs that Dr. Curry has identified and that we're continuing to move forward and towards for workforce development. So just a continuation of that conversation. Thank you.
Trustee Dopplemore?
Yes, I have a couple items. I would like to have the opportunity to have Miss Lanisha Hodo do a presentation on her proposal for the goals and the initiatives of the Associate Mothers in Action Program. And also, I would like to further explore the steps and possibilities of opening the campus to the community to utilize those facilities. I know that we have things that are present under construction.
Is your
but
mic,
just
is your
to-
mic on?
I'm sorry. Yes, thank you. To discuss or look at what are the steps required to opening up the campus to the community for the sports facilities that we have. And that's just like for recreation and some of the additional sports recs programs that are offered through the community.
It just, Trustee Lopez, if I may, and this is, I know this is not on the agenda, but I just want to point to the agenda items today. On the board agenda, the board asked at your retreat in February of this year, you asked for the update on facilities usage and the cost for the using of facilities, which is on the agenda for discussion. So your question could be addressed during that time, but I put it on this month's board agenda in the discussion action section.
In the discussion?
It's
Okay.
there. And in regards to presentations for future, I recommend that before a presentation brought before the board, is that you allow me to follow back up and to give more information for the organization. Because then what could happen in the future is you have organizations who come to present and then automatically like an agenda as relates to partnership. And the partnerships begins with a conversation with the CEO and then also discussion with staff regards to potential partnerships. And I can follow back up regards to the speaker and get some more information and make sure we refer to the appropriate parties. And then keep the board up to date with as relates to that.
Excuse me, Dr. Curry, we cannot hear on the phone.
I know, I just realized that. So I'm going to apologize. Can you hear me now?
Much better.
I'm sorry about that. I just realized you weren't able to hear me. So what my comments that I made to the Board of Trustees was regards to the facilities usage and facility usage. We have that on board agenda today as a follow-up from the February board retreat. And so that's on the agenda item today to talk about facilities usage because the board asked about the pricing and the city comparisons of other colleges, neighboring colleges raised to uses of the facilities. So I was letting Trustee Dopplemore know that that's on the agenda that we can discuss that today regards to facilities use and any follow-up. Regards to the speaker that spoke this morning, regards this afternoon about the potential program and partnerships, I recommend to the board that instead of having the presentations that I follow back up with the speaker and also with our appropriate staff regards to potential partnerships and then keep the board abreast as we move forward.
Okay, so I would rescind my request for future items for presentation from Lanisha Hodo. And I would like to change that is to have further discussions about the programs that are what is offered. And then
take the appropriate steps before having the presentation come before the board. So I agree with your recommendations on that, Dr. Curry.
Thank you.
And I would just like to say too, just one thing, just to make sure that 16.3, because it talks about the PE field. I just want to, the PE field and the pool. So I just want to make sure that is, it's not like in the, that is not for the future construction. We're talking about possibly, because I believe that the completion on that is 2025. I just want to make sure that we're putting steps in process for it to be prior. Is that it? Yes, it is. Okay, it does cover it.
Yeah. So
Okay, got it.
it has all of our facility use and the cost for it. But we can talk about in detail your question and the response when we get to the agenda item this evening.
Got it. I just want to make sure. Thank you.
Trustee Calhoun.
Yes, could you agendize 10.2? No, what we discussed earlier when we was going to closed session.
You asked for prior in closed session, you asked for us to address, let me repeat what you said?
You was explaining about, when I talked about the labor study courses.
Yeah,
You talking about 10.2.
Yeah, you asked for a future agenda item for a future meeting regards to presentation on labor studies
Right.
courses.
And
You
you was,
provide information from LA Trade Tech.
right.
You also asked for information, let me do your, I can go over your list, let me get your whole list.
No, what I'm saying is you was talking to me about 10.2.
Correct.
Do you want to bring it up again?
And yes, I want you to.
Yeah,
talk
but
about it
I
at another
prefer
time.
if we talk about 10.2 on today's agenda, because we have an agenda item about future curriculum
Okay,
and a faculty participation. So at that point, because it's agendized already.
okay,
So we can
good.
talk about your questions at that time.
All right, is that, can you give that number so she can flag it for herself, the curriculum one? I
think
don't have that
it's,
off. Of
on
it's,
the action plan.
the current,
I saw it.
it's not the 16.4, is it?
Give me 1 second. Just gotta give me 1 second. It is 16.04.
04? Yeah, okay. So that's just a flag for you too.
Right, okay, thank you.
Okay, see no further discussion. Moving on to item number 11, Board of Trustee meeting minutes for June 27, 2022, Board of Trustee meeting. If I can get a motion.
So moved.
Second,
It's been moved by Trustee Ramos and seconded by Dr. Little. Do we have any discussion? Trustee Ramos?
No discussion.
Dr. Little?
no discussion.
Trustee Dopplemore?
No discussion.
Trustee Calhoun?
No discussion.
Board members, please look for the queue to cast your vote. That's a unanimous yes vote. Moving on to item number 12, reports from representatives and employee organizations. 12.01, Associate Student Government Report, Paul Medina.
Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Awesome, thank you. Well, good evening, Compton Community College Board of Trustees, President Curry, administrators, faculty, staff, students, and esteemed guests. My name is Paul Medina. I'm Associate Student Government President for the 2022 through 2023 academic year. I also served as the immediate past student trustee last semester. I want to first and foremost apologize for not being able to physically be present at the Board of Trustees meeting. I'm getting some much needed rest. This past weekend, I just wrapped up participating in a 10-day summer gateway program at Clark Atlanta University. You can see that actually in my background picture. This was our end of the program ceremony. Really quick, for some of you who may not know what I'm talking about, this summer, Compton College had a summer gateway program with 3 universities. In the program I participated, students had the opportunity to live the college student experience. We stayed in the dorms, attended a 4-year university level course, ate dorm food. We also visited Dr. Martin Luther King National Park, the King Center, and even an Atlanta Braves game. Other students participated in the STEM program at Sunny Arizona State University, and an ethnic studies course at UC Irvine. As I previously mentioned, I attended the CAU HBCU experience program. I'm not gonna get into it much in detail because this is a student government portion of the Board of Directors meeting, but we may have a report on this in the future. And although I do want to, on behalf of the Compton College student body, I want to give a special thanks to Dr. Antonio Banks and Counselor Cynthia Treadgill for being two amazing chaperones, at least in our particular program. I also want to thank Lorenzo Seco, Christine Ness, and Claudia Blue, and Clark Atlanta University staff, Dr. Stacy Robinson and Sharice Peters, as well as to many more who made this possible. I'll finish this portion by saying this. Being in the presence where many greats called their academic home was very inspiring for us Compton College students. W.B. Du Bois wrote his famous book, The Souls of Black Folk, while teaching at Clark Atlanta University. Reverend Martin Luther King attended Morehouse College. Gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams attended Spelman College, both colleges which were steps away from where we're staying at. So just feel the level of inspiring that was amazing. Now, the HBCU experience reminded me so much of Compton College. It was warming, family-oriented, and the intersectionality, camaraderie, and unity between Black and Brown students was phenomenal. Now to talk about associate student government. At ASG, we are working on having a fun student activity and advocacy-driven upcoming year. Just like the Board of Trustees, the student government is planning their upcoming retreat. At the retreat, we will be brainstorming some major planning and training on the Robert's Rules of Order, Brown Act, and giving an overview of our bylaws, constitution, roles, and responsibilities. Now, having said that, at the next board meeting, I plan to be present physically in person over at the board meeting, where I will provide a PowerPoint presentation on the overview of our organization, disclose our budget, and a refresher on what student government is. I will also briefly provide an overview of our bylaws, our constitution, S-regs, requirements, and qualifications to be in student government, and extend an invitation to the other board members so they can introduce themselves to the Board of Trustees. We are working diligently on our marketing, both physically and digitally, so we can best outreach to students from all walks of life. We need vast voices to be present at the table to advocate for the betterment of Compton College students' academic experience. Until then, if anyone on the board or members of the public, staff, or faculty need to get a hold of me, feel free to do so with no hesitation. My direct contact information is 626-747-5084. You could also email me at pmedina1@compton.edu. I will also drop my contact information in the chat. Thank you once again for allowing me to report on our activities, and to the students for entrusting me to serve as their student body president during the next academic year. I now yield my time back to Board President Lopez, and I'm open to answer any questions which any board members or President Curry may have. Thank you and muchas gracias.
Moving on to 12.02. Moving on to 12.02, Academic Senate Report, Dr. Minadora. All right, moving on to 12.03, CCCFE Certified Employees Report, Janet Morales. Is Jeanette Morales on the call? All right, moving on to 12.04, CCCFE Classified Employees Report, Aminqua McKenzie.
He mentioned to me this afternoon that he will not be at. He mentioned this afternoon that he will not be at today's meeting.
Moving on to 13.01, Compton College Facilities Presentation. Dr. Curry.
Yeah, so tonight we have a presentation on the update of our facilities, and is Linda Owens on the call? Got it. Okay, so Linda Owens is out ill, but I have this. So we want to provide an update to the Board of Trustees on our Compton Community College District facilities projects. Normally Linda does this once a year, because today on the board agenda, the board is approving our 5-year construction management plan and also our initial project proposal for a couple projects, and also a final project proposal to state for funding for new facilities. Next slide. So we start this off with our facilities accomplishments, talk about our current facilities projects, talk about future projects, and also talk about our Compton College and Compton Community College District facilities priorities. As you know, over the last 12 years, we've been really focused and engaged on construction. And it starts with some of our accomplishments. The first accomplishment is in November 2014, the residents approved the $100 million bond, a capital general obligation bond for Compton Community College District of $100 million. This is still the highest bond approval rating of any community college district with 78.39% approval rating. Projects that have been completed, we completed our instructional building number 1 in the fall, actually at the end of, it finished in the spring of 2022, but we opened the building in the fall of 2021. Next slide. Got to go right there, perfect. So instructional building 1 just gives you more information on, you went too fast, Dr. Nasser. There you go. Instructional building 1 gives you more information about the project, which ended up being a $22.3 million project, which includes demolishing of the row buildings, some of the row buildings, and it's at 99% completion. We moved in the fall, and we're continuing to work on some punch list items as we start project. But it's a beautiful facility if you have not seen the instructional building number 1. Next slide. Instructional building 2, which is $25.2 million, $25.6 million project for our construction project. Somebody chime in the chat. It's ongoing. We're at 76% completion. We expect to be completed sometime in fall 2022. This has been one of our projects that's been a little bit stressful due to waiting on supply, the supply chain, and then also make sure we have enough staff who are able to complete the construction project. So we're getting closer and closer to complete this project, but it's a $25.6 million project. Next slide. Then we have the Student Services Building, which is also, which is a $25.2 million project. This is a new Student Services Building. Our goal is for it to be done in fall. We're at 78% completion of this project. We anticipate once the project is done, we can do some demolition work, including getting rid of some of the, some site work, and also demolishing the Upper Bound Math Science facility that we're currently using. But this project has been one of our important projects as relates to student success, where all student services buildings are located in one location. Next slide. The administration renovation project, which is the next up, our goal is hopefully to be done by December of 2023. The reason why it's taking a little bit longer for this one, because the student services building had to be complete so that people can move out of the administration building into the new student services building, and then we can renovate the administration building, which will include administrative services, human resources, and also public relations. And it's a $5 million project in the bond fund. Right now, we're also in design for a vocational technology building, which is a $12.3 million project, which will span our heating, ventilation, air conditioning program, and also our welding program, but then also reconfiguring spaces for cosmetology. As you currently know, the cosmetology program is housed in Tyler Village, and it will be housed in a vocational technology building. Next slide. And then the big project is the $45 million project, but we also anticipate additional $5 million for this project. So we're looking at about $52 million when it's all said and done. Right now, we're in design. We're waiting for Division of State Architects to approve this project. Once it's approved, I'm hopeful that we can start a groundbreaking ceremony sometime this fall. Then we have the Vision of Performing Arts Complex. So right now, this is in design. It's a $13.4 million project. We also include some of the funds, not from Measure C. We actually set aside money in our capital outlay fund to help support this project. But it'll be a new $13.4 million project. We're in design. Right now, we have to look at, one of the issues we got back from the design is that we might do some renovations to this building since we're doing a new building that's connected to this building. And so as we gather more information, we'll share that with the board. But that's a new scope in regards to updating the Little Theater. Next slide. Then the big one. So in the budget that was approved in June, we have the funding for student housing, approximately $80 million. We're at the next board meeting, we'll bring forward the architect for the project. And then we also will bring forward information about construction management for the project. And then also we bring information about our sequel study, which looks at the environmental impact, and that'll be brought forward to the board. We had RFQs, requests for qualifications, responses submitted in June, and they're under review by staff, but at the August board meeting, we'll bring that forward with the recommendation for a board for approval. Next slide. So as you look at our facilities master plan and what we're doing as a college, we're implementing the facilities as we move forward. On the board agenda today includes some initial planning proposals for a student activity center / teacher and learning facility, and then also a new facility for our amazing operation area. And then also the child development center is our final proposal for that, is included in the packet. Next slide. So we're going to continue to implement our facilities master plan, complete the projects that were mentioned today. The instructional building 2, student services building, administration building renovation, vocational technology building renovation, PE complex, and the visual performing arts, and also student housing. So we have a lot of construction that'll be happening over the next couple of years at Compton College. But also we'll continue the planning, the MIS building renovation. We have the math science building renovation, which is funded as well. The Abel Sykes Child Development Center renovation, the student activity, teaching and learning, maintenance renovation. And then the final one is something I'm really interested in right now, is regards to solar and electric charging stations in our various parking lots. And so that's something that's going to move up a little bit in our priority as it relates to energy saving. And so we're going to be looking at that over the next year, just trying to explore new options that might be available. Next slide. And that concludes the presentation. Is there any questions?
Trustee Ramos.
Yes, thank you for the report. I like the update that we got on the projects. That's all I had.
Dr. Little.
I want to thank you for the report. If I may just retroactively, again, thank our president, our student government president, Mr. Medina, for all of his leadership and continued work. Thank you, Dr. Curry, for the update, and wanted to know if we would be getting any kind of preliminary planning for our housing projects and just the ways in which we plan to have the overall rollout of the new facilities as they continue to go. Thank you.
Trustee Dopplemore. Trustee Calhoun.
Hello. All right, so I have a question about the instructional building that has been finished. I keep hearing things, well, you know, I don't always believe in rumors, so rumors don't have to be true. Mute myself, unmute myself. Oh my. The instructional building, is it true that inside the instructional building that when people come in, the staff cannot see the people come in because they're either their backs are to the door? And if that is true, how can it be fixed? Nobody, when they walk in the instructional building where the staff is at, or whoever they want to see.
Are you talking about the classroom? Or are you talking about the office?
The office, where, how they come in the door, and then staff cannot see the person that comes in because maybe where the desks are at or how the furniture is put, their back is to them.
My recommendation is if you have a problem with super next week, let's walk the facility so I can be able to address the question. Because I know what it looks
We
like.
cannot hear any response if there is one.
My recommendation was for Trustee Calhoun and myself to walk the building so I can be able to answer the question. I know that the way the lecture style of the classroom is set up, is that when students walk, the faculty member is in the front of the classroom. So if someone is walking in the classroom, they might not see them unless they look to the side. And so that could be one area that you might be having questions about. Or it could be the question about when staff are in their offices and somebody knock on a door, are they able to see those individuals? And I don't know that question. My thing is I'd rather walk the facility to be able to address your question. If you want to do it together, we can.
Oh, we don't have to do it together. I have to find a driver to bring me down here. So,
Okay.
if you want to have somebody come and pick me up at my house just to come down here, I can do that, but I'm just saying, you're on campus. I'm not trying to do your job. I'm just, if you could just check that out, because that's what I keep hearing, that there's an issue about that building. Other than that, I think that's a really good presentation of everything that we're doing on the campus. A lot of this started prior to me coming on this board. I didn't come on until 2018, but a lot of this was already in the pipeline, and some more came up, and I think this is a very good direction in what our college is going in, especially with the student housing that's coming up. You know, I'm really, really proud of that we will have students that will be living on our campus and stuff like that. So I'm really proud of the direction that this is going on, and I really do thank the residents from back in the day for approving that bond. Thank you.
All right, thank you for the presentation. Up next, we have the Compton College Health Center.
So we have our representative, I know Jim is on the line from St. John's, who will be providing this, the president and CEO of St. John's is here to provide the presentation for us as it relates to the student housing, relates to the St. John's Community Health Center. Jim, I know you're there, I saw you.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Curry, appreciate it. So the partnership between Compton College and St. John's has produced a tremendous amount of healthcare services to the students and also to the students' families and the surrounding community. So if we can go to the next slide. So we've done over 2,500 tests. So far this year, we're going to be up to about 4,500 tests. All over the county, we vaccinated 458,000 people. But at Compton College alone, we provided 24,000 vaccinations to students in the community around Compton College. So we saved a lot of lives and provided a lot of vaccines to people who needed it and wanted it. This gives you a sense of the growth of the health center. So obviously there was a dip in 2022 because of COVID, but you can see now that by the end of this year, we'll have seen close to 6,000 patient visits at that little Compton Health Center. So it's very, very exciting. A lot of students are coming through, rotating through, and we're also getting some of their families as well. This is a breakdown of that total. 5,268 visits were medical and 628 are mental health, behavioral health. And that's going to increase because we now have a full-time behavioral health therapist at the site, 5 days a week, 40 hours a week. Next slide. So this just gives you a sense of the percentage of patients who are insured. And as more and more people become eligible for Medi-Cal through the Medi-Cal expansion that the governor signed into law, you can see that people that are insured are, significantly increasing. So that's good. The more people who have insurance, the better healthcare they're going to get. They can get referrals, they can see specialists, they can get testing and all the kinds of things that they need. Next. So over the last 3 years, this gives you a sense really of some of the significant things that we're treating at the Compton College Health Center. So over 9,000 students were treated for sexually transmitted diseases. 35 students were treated for depression. And then, of course, 24,000 were vaccinated. So those are some of the big services that we're providing. And you can see that, we're going to be developing programming to intervene, education, prevention, and obviously an expansion of behavioral and mental health services to meet this demand. Next slide, please. So this was a press conference that we held last February, where we talked about how Compton College had become, has led the way in addressing racial inequities in vaccine distribution. We were doing more than 1,000 COVID vaccinations a week at the height of the pandemic. Supervisor Holly Mitchell came, as well as Dr. Curry, and Dr. Muntu Davis, who's the health officer for the LA County Department of Public Health, as well as Compton community members. So it was a very, very successful event, and it brought a lot of attention to access to the vaccine access that was made possible by the Compton College Health Center. Next slide. And this is an example of flyers that get passed out, that get provided to students so they can access health care services and all the things that we offer. And this gives you a sense of all of the services that we offer at that site, from annual wellness physicals, to sports physicals, to counseling and therapy, vaccinations, blood work, wound care, specialty and imaging referrals, health prevention, education and screening, birth control, counseling, and free condoms, COVID testing and vaccination, and management of acute and chronic health conditions. And then we also do telehealth services as well to students who request it. So these are all of our services. So that's the presentation. And if anyone has any questions or for me, I'm happy to answer them. I do want to thank the Board of Trustees and Dr. Curry for the partnership and for allowing St. John's to operate the school health center on campus. I think that we've had a big impact on the health of the students and their families. And it's a very exciting partnership. And I'm very grateful. So I just want to say thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. Trustee Ramos, any questions or discussion?
No, thank you for the presentation.
Dr. Little?
Yes, I just want to say thank you so much publicly, Mr. Mangia, for the presentation. I had the pleasure of being about a month ago at a convening for Southern California ministers, where Mr. Mangia and St. John's received a community award, where Dr. Jim Lawson was there and Cornell West was there, speaking about the impact of the broader community and our service to each other. And I think that these type of partnerships, and more importantly, these type of services that are truly intervening in one's mental and physical and actually economic health as well, because of having the ability not only to stay healthy and take care of one's family, but the ability to work, the ability to go to school. And I don't think that we recognize the connectivity all of the time, and to have it centrally located, not only within one's community, but a place in which people have to be to continue to work on bettering and improving their lives, which is at their school site. So I just want to, again, personally thank you as a lifelong resident of Compton, and as someone who understands that a scarcity of health resources leads to scarcity in many other ways. So I just, again, want to thank you so much.
Thank you.
Trustee Dopplemore.
Yes, again, I would like to say thank you also to providing this type of service to our community, not just the services for the pandemic of COVID-19, but also on slide 6, when you are providing the additional emotional support that our students need, as well as providing immunization, vaccinations, but also providing for depression and anxiety. Those are, as well as the other the one that's 93.19%, the STDs as well. So that additional services is what our community is in need of, and this is very much appreciated, and it's something that it's an additional cost savings to our students as well. So again, thank you so very much.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, Trustee Lopez, but we cannot hear you all. And I just want to make sure that the community hears the comments. We cannot hear you.
Trustee Calhoun.
Yes, I am so proud of this partnership with St. John's. I am so glad that you are on our campus. I am so glad that you adhere to the needs of our students, faculty, and staff. And what a fantastic partnership that this is. And I want this to continue. And I never want St. John's to leave our campus. Fantastic job, and thank you so much.
Thank you. We'll never leave. We're not going to leave.
I'm sorry, I cut you off. I'm sorry. The only other question is, they're talking about the new variant that's coming out. Is that another booster?
Yeah, it looks like there's going to be another booster in the fall. They're kind of rushing to do it. We're seeing really high positivity rates. We're testing about 300 people a day throughout all of our sites, and about 50 to 60% a day are coming back positive. So this is a huge surge. So we have to, put our masks back on, and hopefully we'll get another booster for those of us who want it. But this variant is very, very infectious. It's not as debilitating, especially if you've been vaccinated. So the overwhelming majority of people who are winding up in the hospital are people who are not vaccinated. Most people who are vaccinated do not get serious illness from this variant, but still, nonetheless, it's no joke, and we're seeing a big surge right now.
Thank you so much for this report, and thank you for being a very good partner with a partnership with Compton College and St. John's. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation, John. All right, moving on to item number 14 consent agenda.
Can I make one recommendation for you?
Of course, Dr. Curry.
Just with 14 point, if the board could, before you take action, if we could be able to have the chair of the Bond Oversight Committee speak to item 14.03 before you take action on the consent agenda. Thank you.
Board members, Dr. Curry wants 14.03 pulled so that we can have public comment for it. I do need a motion for that.
So moved.
Okay.
Well, I second it. She moved it.
Thank you. So board members, the motion at the moment is to move 14.03 independently. It's been moved by Trustee Doppelmore and seconded by Trustee Calhoun. We will actually do a verbal vote for this, given that it is not on the computer.
Trustee Ramos?
Sorry, yeah, can you hear me?
Trustee Ramos?
Aye.
Dr. Little?
Aye.
Trustee Doppelmore? Aye. Trustee Calhoun?
Aye.
President Lopez?
Aye. Board members, we will start off with item 14.03, 2020-2021 Compton Community College District Citizens Bond Oversight Annual Report. And we're going to open it up with public comment.
Good evening, trustee board members. My name is Roger Lister, and I'm the chairman of the Compton College Community District Bond Oversight Committee. And we had a meeting last week, at which point in time we Steve staff report forward to you our approval of the annual report. And I wanted to take a time to come down and acknowledge the board, my fellow board members that I work with and interact with. And this have you all know the great job that they put forward every time we meet. I want to specifically mention staff, Ms. Owens, Dr. Garcia, Ms. Van Brown, and please forgive me if I mispronounce your name, Ms. Barcott. I got it right. They do a great job. They answer all our questions. Sometimes even the most mundane questions, sometimes coming from me, but they take time and they answer it. I just want to publicly acknowledge the work that they do for us that hopefully allows you to feel comfortable to approve anything that comes out of our community. And lastly, I want to acknowledge Dr. Curry, who does a great job of identifying who should sit in the committee, and the people who come, they work. And I want to tell Dr. Curry, thank you for that, and acknowledge my committee members, Ms. Atkins, Ms. Daniels, Ms. Johnson, Ms. Martinez, Staff Representative Crystal Moore, Ms. Shipp, and the Vice Chair, Ms. Wright. And thank you very much for indulging me with this. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Do we have any other public comment for 14.03? All right, seeing no other public comment. Board members, do I have a motion to approve 14.03?
Move.
Yes, like, since we're, Ramos moved it, I'm waiting for, and Trustee Ramos has moved the motion and Trustee Calhoun has seconded. Do we have any discussion? Trustee Ramos?
No discussion.
Dr. Little?
No discussion.
Trustee Dopplemore?
No discussion.
Trustee Calhoun? All right, seeing no discussion, board members, this will be a verbal vote for 14.03.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, it's ready? Okay. It will be a digital vote.
That's a unanimous yes vote.
Right, moving on to the remainder of the consent agenda, 14.01 through 14.23, with the exception of 14.03 that was removed. Board members, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It was moved by Dr. Little and seconded by Trustee Calhoun. All right. Board members, moving on to item discussion. If you could give me the numbers, and then we will all go in numerical order once everyone has given me the numbers that they want to discuss. Trustee Ramos.
No, I don't need to discuss anything.
Dr. Little.
I have no items at this time.
Trustee Dopplemore.
Yes, I was wondering if we could put all the band camp items together. Is that possible?
They're all in consent, so consent is all one item.
So can we just do, I mean, I'm just saying, instead of doing each one of the band items individually, if, for example, if we could do 14, I think that's me, 14.6, 7, 11. I mean, there's several band camp items, and I was just wondering if all of those could be together.
So under consent items, we vote for all of consent items. We don't separate them. So the purchase orders, we're not individually voting under 14. We vote as a whole. It's under 15 that we do individualize.
Okay, got it. Then I forget mine.
Okay. Trustee Calhoun.
There's something wrong with my mind. All right. It's me. All right, as everybody knows,
Dr. Curry, I send my questions in. Dr. Curry answers them. And Dr. Curry, could you put them in the chat? Or you can't do it because of, okay. Well, she called on my name, so I just have to repeat it all the time. So thank you so much. All the questions that.
And I was anticipating that, so right when you took the mic, I dropped it. Just put it in right when you got the mic.
Trustee Dopplemore, just to confirm, you want to discuss 14.08, correct?
14.8, yes.
All right.
The
Go.
student data, right, sharing?
Mhm.
I just had a quick question. On the data sharing, do the students have an option to opt out of that? And with the, and it says that the disposal or the, when the student's information is discarded, it's 90 days after the expiration date of the terms. So that period would be from today, June 19th, 2020 to June 30th, 2025. Is that correct? And that term or that agreement, is that between the student in Compton College and like cast, right? Like case?
So this is regarding this data sharing agreement regards to the strong workforce. This agreement is regarding to strong workforce as relates to the LA County Regional Consortium. And so in the agreement, I think what you're getting to is that the students we have to share data with them as relates to the reporting. And then we also have to discharge the data once we're done, when it's completed. And it based off the terms that's in the agreement. Does that make sense?
Yes. So I just want to confirm that the information on the student, does the student have the option to, an opt out for their information to be shared with this agency? Because it also says it's like 90 days after that agreement. So that agreement is not agreement between Compton College and my class, or somehow does the student have a say in that agreement?
So this agreement is between us and the vendor. It does not request for a student because it's used for the purpose of a study, not for any other information. And that's why number 2 talks about the purpose of the study and the scope. Because the whole point of this one is connecting the students from this outreach platform to who actually enroll.
Geez, 55.
That's fine.
And what I can do, I recommend the board approve, but I can be able to provide more information to the board regards to the agreement and the follow-up items regards to the 90-day period.
I just want to make sure, because we're talking about information, right? The student's information. I just want to make sure, like with the students, I know it says that it's that they're being tracked for professional purposes, but does the student have the option and opt out? And if it's somewhere like in another online access or something where they sign that right away, I understand that as well, but I just want to bring it up here because it does talk about an extensive period. And it's 90 days after the agreement. So 90 days after that, the end of this agreement is 2025. So if you have a student that's coming along and that student is, say, 3 years post graduating from Compton College, they're still pretty much getting tracked.
Okay, and I can follow back up regards to that part of the question.
Yes, thank you.
No problem.
All right,
Seeing no further comments or discussion, please go to your online portal to cast your vote. That's a unanimous yes vote. Moving on to 15 action items, administrative services for Compton Community College District Resolution Number 0718-2022B, budget augmentations for the fiscal years 2021 and 2022. Board members, I need a
So
motion.
moved.
Second.
It's been moved by trustee Ramos and seconded by Dr. Little. Do we have any discussion? Trustee Ramos,
No discussion.
Dr. Little,
No discussion.
trustee Dopplemore,
No discussion.
trustee Calhoun.
No discussion.
Seeing no discussion, board members, if you go online to cast your vote. That's a unanimous yes vote. Moving on to 15.02, administrative services for Compton Community College District Resolution Number 0718-2022C, budget transfers for the fiscal year 2021-2022. Board members, can I get a motion?
So moved.
It has been moved by trustee Ramos and seconded by trustee Calhoun. Do we have any discussion? Trustee Ramos,
No discussion.
Dr. Little,
No discussion.
trustee Dopplemore,
No discussion.
trustee Calhoun.
No discussion.
Seeing no discussion, board members, please cast your vote online. That's a unanimous yes vote. Moving on to 15.03, administrative services for contracts over 99,100 for JBC Group LLC. Can I get a motion, board members?
So moved.
Second.
It has been moved by trustee Ramos and seconded by trustee Calhoun. Do we have any discussion? Trustee Ramos,
No discussion.
Dr. Little,
No discussion.
trustee Dopplemore,
No discussion.
trustee Calhoun.
I have been that was one of my questions. And Dr. Turner did answer. When it comes to talking to that point of action, but it doesn't say that. It doesn't say that in the scope of the duties. It said they will not. Dr. Curry, the answer that you gave me, unless I read it wrong.
So what can happen, trustee, trustee,
Y'all promoting me.
I've been doing that a lot lately. Trustee Calhoun, here's my thoughts on this. I recommend the board approve the contract, but also give me the authority to finalize the contract to address the questions that you have. And so we approve the contract for the current amount, but also the board would delegate me authority, as you have done in previous contracts, to make sure I incorporate the language to address your question.
That's fine with me.
Seeing no further questions, board members, please cast your vote online. That's a unanimous yes vote. 15.04, Human Resources Revised 2022 Classified and Supervisory Employee Salary Schedule. Board members, I need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
It has been moved by trustee Ramos and seconded by Dr. Little. Do we have any discussion? Trustee Ramos,
No discussion.
Dr. Little,
No discussion.
trustee Dopplemore,
No discussion.
trustee Calhoun.
No discussion.
See no discussion, board members, if you cast your vote online. That's a unanimous yes vote.
Moving on to item number 16 for discussion/action items. 16.01, Board of Trustees regularly scheduled meeting dates for 2022. Dr. Curry.
This was brought up at the last board meeting at the request of trustee Barbara Calhoun. Regards to board meeting dates, I included background information, and I should also include the meetings for the remainder of this academic year, as requesting direction from the Board of Trustees on this matter.
So board members, do we have any discussion? Trustee Ramos?
I have no discussion.
Dr. Little?
I'm sorry, I was unmuting. For clarification, Dr. Curry, when you say you are looking for direction, is that either recommendations for a change or just thoughts on either maintaining it or considering different days?
So at the last board meeting, under request for future items, trustee Calhoun requested for the board to bring back the board meeting dates for 2022. And the board agreed to that. So I brought the item back on the board agenda with the background information in regards to the board selection of the meeting dates. And also I included the board meeting dates for remainder of the year. And so this item was brought by the board, and I'm requesting direction as it relates to how the board wants to move forward.
Okay, I'm uncertain as to whatever action or if we're looking for a recommendation. I have no comments at this time. If we're seeking to, or if we're considering something, I'm not certain. So thank you for clarifying. I don't know if that's all we have to do. So no more questions or comments at this time, unless I need to. I'll come back and ask.
Trustee Dopplemore?
Yes, can I just get clarification on the time? Is this a time change recommendation as well?
There's no time change recommendation. At the last board meeting, trustee Calhoun voiced concern regards to the Monday meetings. And then the board agreed to place this item on the agenda, which I've done. And so I'm requesting, the board asked for this item be brought forward. I provided background information and also the recommendation for it to be discussed. I just want to know what direction or where the board would like to move forward as it relates to the board meeting dates. And so I think it might be helpful if we turn to trustee Calhoun to provide the reasoning for why this is on the agenda. And then I think that could spark the discussion, my recommendation.
But before we do, Dr. Curry, the closed session at 4 p.m. is an error, right? It's 5 p.m. and then 6 p.m.
Correct.
Okay, that was, I think, the question as well. Okay, thanks.
Yes.
The document
yes,
that you
thank
have, the document you have attached says closed session starts at 4 and open session at 5, when it's open, closed session at 5.
Yeah, that's a mistake on our end. I will fix that.
Got it. I think that's what trustee Dopplemore's reference
Got it.
question was regarding. Just to make sure, trustee Dopplemore, are you?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay,
That was my clarification that I needed to put on the time.
got it. Trustee Calhoun.
Perfect. Listen, I understand our board meetings are set for the rest of this year. When we chose Monday, I explained this could become a conflict. And I will miss some board meetings this year due to a conflict with other board meetings that I have to attend. I'm hopeful we as a board can work this out in the future. We have tried board meetings on Monday and Tuesdays. For the 2023 year, I would like the board to be open to changing the day for our meetings to a Wednesday or a Thursday. Thank you. Now, Mondays are bad for me right now. They were not bad at first. So now that's why I explained to the entire board when Monday was chosen that it would become a conflict. And now it is. And so that is my issue. So it's not that I don't want to be here.
Got it. And so just to clarify, Dr. Curry, for us to consider the dates of 2023 to make modifications, we as a board need to start having that discussion. Is it in November, or to have it implemented and voted on in December to have them begin as of that January? Or do we start that conversation in October, vote on it in November,
then 2023 it begins.
So the past practice has been that in November, I provide a draft of multiple options for the board. I provide Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and what that might look like. And the board discuss, and then at the December meeting, the board takes action.
Got it. So, Trustee Calhoun.
I've been going through the board policy and I haven't found it yet. Is there a board policy on the number of meetings that a trustee can miss?
No, there's not.
Okay, because I was looking forward to make sure that I stay in the guidelines as being a board of trustee and doing my duties that the residents elected me for. So
The policy, Trustee Calhoun, the policy is clear regards to, and I can forward it as well, but as regards to when a board member is absent, there's no number of meetings that they have to participate in. However, if you're absent and is excused absent, is that have to be a letter to the CEO with the CEO placed on a board agenda for you to be able to receive excused absence.
So I'll just reiterate, board members, for us to consider new dates in 2023, that discussion will take place in November. My recommendation, when we get this information in November, if Dr. Curry, you can give us dates Monday through Thursday again for the year of 2023. And the board members, currently, we have the option of having closed session at 4, open session at 5. That could be one option. And then the other option could be remaining it as is, which is closed session begins at 5, open session at 6. That way the board has a clear view of the options that we can have for the year 2023. Is there any objection to that suggestion?
Is that for the remainder of this year, or you're saying for 23?
This is for 2023.
Oh, okay. So it'll be many considerations in November. That's what we're saying, correct?
Correct.
Both day and time?
Correct. For Monday through Thursday, 2 different time slot options.
Okay, and I have one more just clarifying point. I know Dr. Curry said that there is no policy regarding the number of meetings you can miss, but there are ways in which to demonstrate, for example, if a trustee does miss a meeting due to a conflict, but they are actively involved, when we evaluate, that trustee could be recognized for their work beyond if they had to miss a meeting just for the remainder of this year. Is that correct, Dr. Curry?
I don't understand your question. I think you're saying if someone is missing, just for clarification, if someone misses a meeting or their involvement, to be able to be recognized that they might have missed a meeting, but recognize the other activities they're participating in on behalf of the district?
Right, as I think when I heard Trustee Calhoun's question, and I just wanted clarification that there is no penalty, but I understand her concern about wanting to attend and be committed and present. And I'm saying if we are not able to change as of right now, that there are still ways in which to demonstrate her participation and active leadership, even if people miss a meeting. I'm just clarifying that. Is that correct?
Correct. And one of the goals for the board is for the board members to represent the board in the community and bring information back to the Board of Trustees. So that could be used as a part of the board report or a written report. That could be a part of the record to show what individuals have done outside the board meeting as representing their constituents. And that actually meets one of the board goals for this year.
Thank you.
All right, there is no action on 16.01 except for a follow-up back in November. 16.02 Compton Community College District Board of Trustees Retreat, which is scheduled for this Saturday, July 23rd, 2022. Dr. Curry.
Just want to put a reminder out there that this is happening this Saturday via Zoom. The board agenda will be posted on Wednesday at 9:00 a.m. and Helen Benjamin will be the facilitator. Most of the board members have submitted their board evaluation. I'm still missing one. And so I don't know who that one person is, but if that one board member can complete that evaluation today that would be very helpful as we move forward to try to prepare the agenda.
Curry, how can we check that if we want to check that ours have been received or not? Is there a way to just email you?
No, since it's anonymous, so
Oh, okay.
I just
Thank
gotta know who submitted.
Thank you.
I'm gonna go through the react. Trustee Ramos, any questions or discussion?
No, thank you.
Dr. Little, any questions or discussion?
Not at this time.
Trustee Moore?
No discussion.
Trustee Calhoun?
Yes. So our retreat is on Zoom. I don't have to come down here to the little theater? Oh, okay. Thank you.
All right. Moving on to 16.03, Compton Community College District Facilities Uses Fees. Dr. Curry.
So at the board retreat in February, the board requested the item regards to facility use and the fee schedule. So including your packet is our fee schedule for the use of facilities. And then also we did comparisons of local community colleges as requested by the Board of Trustees. To address Trustee Doppelmore's question, people can submit requests to utilize our facilities. One of our concerns is the amount of requests and our people power to be able to support the number of events. So that's the only concern that we have, but people can submit the request for the use of facility and follow the board policy as it relates to facilities usage.
Board members, do we have any discussion? Trustee Ramos?
No.
Dr. Little?
I'm sorry, no.
Trustee Doppelmore?
Yes, Dr. Curry, is there an agreement or a packet that goes along with this, and is it on the website?
Yeah, so we can send it to the board as well, but we have it on the website. It's a facility use application. And there's a process as it relates to that. And then, and it's a part of a board policy, so I can share that information with you. The board policy and administrative regulation.
Thank you.
Trustee Calhoun?
Yes. I don't, I went through all of them. I guess I'm missing something. It doesn't show what the cost would be if you are a nonprofit.
If you're a nonprofit, there's no cost for the facility, but there's costs for the staffing.
There is, I looked through this and on the paperwork, unless I missed it, there doesn't say anything down here that there's no cost. There's no cost for a nonprofit, but then they have the facilities fees. That's what I'm saying.
So the board asked for the facilities fees and the cost comparison to other colleges. The board policy has the information and administrative regulation regards to being a nonprofit. And so I can provide that to the board in the email. I can also place on the agenda for the next meeting, but all that information is included in the board policy and administrative regulation. The request was in regards to the fees, but I could add that to the next meeting, or I can send it to the board members before the next meeting.
No, you don't have to add it to the next meeting. I'm just asking, this is discussion. And I understand that we did ask for this to be put on the agenda so everybody would know the fees. I'm just saying what I don't see on it. It could be in the board policy. I understand that. But when somebody comes and they want to rent it, they don't have the board policy. They don't know it unless they go online or when they come here and they make that appointment and find out what the costs are. That's what I'm saying. So these fees are on our website, correct?
These are updated. I don't know if they posted them on the website, but it's a part of our application. And I haven't looked to circle back to look at the comparisons, but I could do that this week. But it is included in the application.
Okay, so when they come and is everything provided to them in a package? Like they get a package of all
the cost, and they know what the cost is. When they make that appointment, they see all the costs there.
Actually, what happens, I can talk about the process a little bit. It starts with them initially doing a facility uses application. From there, then the staff quotes out the cost for those individuals. So they get a quote from the staff. And then from there, that's when we go in and do the contract with the individuals utilize our facility. And that's when they provide their insurance requirements as well. But the first step is the application. So then the staff can be able to cost it out of what the potential cost might be, including staffing.
Right. And then I know this is a community college that is embedded in this community. We're surrounded by other cities, but you made the statement, I don't want to say the wrong thing. You was talking about, I'll let you repeat it again, about if somebody wants to use the facility, you have to go by how many staff people you have, and that determines if they can have an event at this college. I don't want to say the wrong thing.
No, it depends on the people power, right? Do we have enough people to be able to support the event? We get an enormous amount of requests to support, and so we have to make sure that we have enough people to be able to provide the services to support those events effectively. And so right now, in this COVID environment, we've been having to really look at some of our facilities usage requests, because some of the requests, we just don't have the capacity to be able to support in a timely manner. And so that's why we really, it's important that we follow our policy in regards to the notification of when they submit, make sure everything's paid for in a 2-week period, but also make sure we have enough staff to support it. Like right now, for example, we're hiring additional maintenance and operations staff. And want to make sure that we have enough coverage for maintenance operation. We also have to make sure we have enough coverage for campus police. Some events are one of large scale, where we have to reach out to the sheriff's office or Compton Unified School District that will provide the additional police coverage, our security coverage for these special events. So just try to make sure that we have enough of people to help support these events effectively. And we've been very flexible with organizations, but I'm starting to see that a lot of our people are just, they have a lot going on and people are tired. So we're trying to figure out ways to be able to support our employees, but also support the community at the events.
I'm gonna say this, and I hope I say it in the right vein. This is a community college, and we have a community that is looking for venues to use. A lot of them do not want to go outside of Compton to rent another location when they want to do it in the city of Compton. I hear you talk about the employees. I hear you talk about the school police. I've been asking about how many police officers are going to be hired. It's been on the agenda about how many police officers we have, how many more we need. I understand at a large venue, we can always use the Compton Unified School Police, or we can use the sheriffs. And I'd go for the Compton Unified School Police and the sheriff's last because of their fees. Or you could use, which we have on our campus, Securitas. Securitas can be, Securitas, how you say it. They're a security company that we pay. They can also be a part of the venue when it comes to security. And then with our school police and stuff like that. We have to figure out a way where our community wants to come and lease our facilities and stop turning them away because of what we don't have when we need to fix what we have. And I understand it takes a while to hire. But this is Compton, and we need to use our college for our community. That's all I'm saying.
And Trustee Calhoun, I don't disagree with you, but I think we have been more open than our other community agencies regards to utilizing our facility. My concern right now, especially as we're with the COVID-19 pandemic and the amount that we're trying to do at the college, from outreach and recruitment to guided pathways implementation, I feel like facilities usage is becoming bigger and bigger and bigger, and trying to make sure that we're able to support it is difficult. And so we have to be able to prioritize some of the things that we're doing on our campus. And my fear is that we might not be able to meet everyone's needs as it relates to facilities usage. Now, I don't know the whole numbers for last year, regards to how many people submitted an application and through that process, how many did not actually happen for various reasons. And I think I could have staff to pull that together. But the capacity for the amount that the amount of requests that we're getting is becoming a lot. And we've been very flexible. I mean, very flexible with outside groups, but it's a lot right now. And how can we be able to manage it? And we're trying to. Like we're like everyone's dealing with hiring and trying to have enough staff to support. But what I see is becoming even more of our facilities. And I don't know what our capacity will be to be able to maintain the amount that we're doing for facilities usage. And I'm not saying we're turning everyone away, but I'm recognizing regards to people power, do we have enough people to be able to effectively support some of these events? And that's what we're monitoring.
I'm gonna leave this alone, but that's not what the community looks at. And I understand that's what we need to look at, what you need to look at as the CEO of this college. That's not how community members look at it when they want to lease the rooms, the fields, or whatever. That's not how they're looking at it. And so how do we get the community to understand why we're not having, or why we're unable to do the things that they would like to do in order to rent or lease our facilities?
But I think also to that count is that you might want to look at the data in regards to how many were submitted applications, how many were approved, and which ones were not approved. Because some people have not submitted applications. And so I think we might want to look at that data of what applications were submitted.
Because they don't, okay. I talk to a lot of community people, and they don't feel like Compton College is welcoming them for to have their events on our campus because of everything that they got to go through. And I always say, no, put the application in, put the application in. Put the application in, put the application in. I keep telling them to try it no matter what. And a lot of them said, nope, not gonna bother with it. I'm going to Carson, or I'm going to Long Beach. And so I'm just saying. Because I'm looking forward to having an event here next year, and I'll discuss it with you, but it's gonna be a big event. Thank you.
All right. See, no. Yeah, trustee. Dr. Curry, if I may, if I could just make one suggestion to the rental fee schedule. I know that we have a lot of construction taking place, but if this is on the website or whatever is on the website, if there is, for example, like the baseball field, I see on here that is blank, as well as the track and field. If those are items or locations that are presently under construction and we don't have a fee schedule because it's not available, if that can just be indicated, if I could just make that suggestion.
Yeah, we can look at that. The baseball is because of Major League Baseball Academy. We don't control the use of their fields being rented.
Okay. But the track and field
is ours.
Thank you.
I have a question with regards to rental. If, I guess the football field, since we spent a lot of money, we just recently talked about it. If it were to be damaged by the person or entity or organization that's actually renting it out, is there a clause that talks about repairs?
So we don't typically allow for the football field. We have let the Compton Unified School District utilize it for the Friday football games for Compton High School. They have no location, but we were able to talk to our insurance company about that. But we're always concerned about the warranty as relates to our football field and the damage of the field. And so some things are covered under warranty, some things are not. And so our concern has always been about the warranty with the football field, regards to outside parties utilizing it.
So is there a usage of, I'm assuming that we require some type of insurance?
Yeah, we require insurance for the use of the football field with Compton Unified School District. And then if we had another party, like for example, we let the sheriffs do an event on the football field for for one of their academies, so for recruitment. And they're required to provide their insurance information.
Got it. And then I know that you said that there was a waiver, a portion for the nonprofit except for insurance. I know a lot of nonprofits may not have like a provider, and so is that something that we're able to help facilitate?
Yeah, we have been able to help facilitate with outside vendors where they can go to get insurance, but we take a step back because we don't want to be encouraging to go to certain places. But Ruben James and his staff has been directing outside vendors, our organizations where to go. The big price for the nonprofits is the staffing costs, and so there's no way of getting around the staffing costs for those events. And so we're able to provide it because they're nonprofit, use the facilities for free. However, the staff associated with it, that's a cost that they have to bear.
And so for the staffing, I know the one that you mentioned, the concerns, if they are exceeding their work hours during the week, so this is overtime charges of staffing for whoever's using the facility,
Correct.
All right, I have no further questions. Thank you for this information.
Yes, thank you.
Moving on to 16.04, role of facilities in academic program development.
So at the last board meeting, Trustee Dopplemore asked questions about new curriculum and new programs. I asked Vice President Sherry Berger to work on this item for today's meeting, which talks about what the Academic Senate brought forward for their potential new programs for the college and their recommendation, and if other additional information I asked for from them is included as well. We also provided the EMIS data for potential programs, and we included the data regards to what jobs are out there within this area for those potential programs. And so the Academic Senate also provided an updated summary of where they're at regards to these programs, but we're working with the Academic Senate regards to new programs, and we'd like to solidify this list before October of this year.
Just to make sure before I move it over to the Board of Trustees, are you asking for an action or discussion?
So Trustee Dopplemore asked for this item to be considered or brought forward regards to new programs for Compton College. And this provides a new updated information in regards to the potential new programs, work with the Academic Senate here at Compton College. And just so everyone knows, when I look at new programs, this is a part of the 10+1, where we rely primarily on the faculty for recommendations regards to initiating curriculum and also new programs.
Any questions or discussion, Trustee Ramos?
I do not have any.
Dr. Little?
I put my answer, excuse me, in the chat due to my voice. Thank you.
Give us a second, hold on. Okay, Trustee Dopplemore.
Yes, I just wanted to, with this, the next steps would be for bringing these online. The ones that they're considering.
The next step is then the Academic Senate providing additional information regards to these programs, and then also look at the budget costs, and then also looking at funding for new faculty positions to support these programs. I think it's important that we look at new programs, that we have to hire faculty to lead these programs, and they can't be adjunct faculty. And so as we go through this process of looking at new programs, trying to figure out what's the next step into the implementation. And so I should have more on that in October of this year.
Trustee Calhoun?
Explain the 10+1 again.
The 10+1 is looking at for policy development implementation matters, looking at the initiative curriculum and also new programs that we rely primarily on the faculty for this one. And so the Academic Senate has been leading the conversation about potential new programs. And so the information that's brought forward tonight from Trustee Calhoun about the labor studies course, I will share that with the Academic Senate. And I also will share with them the information about pathways that Trustee Dopplemore is talking about regards to looking at the pathways to K-12 and how they can relate to Compton College. But having the Academic Senate take the lead and provide recommendations on how to move forward.
So once you do that, if they decide, if they make the decision that the labor study courses are not feasible, whatever, then we will go by what their answer is and that's it.
We will rely primarily, but if the board wants to do something different, the board could take action on that as well. But the problem that we have, when you look at the programs, and I have not looked, Trustee Calhoun, so I'm not saying labor is not the way to go. I'm just saying, I think we need to look at the data and look at to see what the interest might be in this community in regards to labor studies, and then sharing that information with the Academic Senate if it's a viable program, but sharing that information with them. And so our Institute of Effective Office will look into that and then share the information with the Academic Senate.
Okay, thank you.
All right, let's see, no. Moving on to 16.05, Compton Community College full-time equivalent students, Dr. Curry.
So you have the updated of where we're at on our enrollment and what's happening. I was actually looking at the data. I think right now we're about 5% down. And I was encouraged because for the last couple of years, it's been double digits down in enrollment. And so I don't know if it's a stabilization of our enrollment. I don't know that at this time, but we continue to implement the recommendations from our outreach and recruitment plan that was brought forward in front of the board. This weekend from 10 to 3 o'clock, we have our community day where the campus is open to be able to provide services and registration. One good thing I would say is that the campus is fully open now. The administration building is open to receive and work with students. And you're starting to see more foot traffic happening. And so I'm excited about that. This is the first summer where we have all of our departments are back open at their original location. So we're encouraged by that, but we continue to monitor the numbers as we move forward.
Board members, any comments or discussion? Trustee Ramos.
No, thank you.
Dr. Little? All right, she says no. Trustee Dopplemore?
No discussion.
Trustee Calhoun?
No discussion.
All right, thank you so much, board members. Moving on to item number 17, grant item 17.01, administrative services for grants ratification foundation for California Community Colleges -SEM 00005351. Can I get a motion?
So move.
Second.
It's been moved by Trustee Ramos and seconded by Trustee Calhoun. Do we have any discussion? Trustee Ramos?
No discussion.
Dr. Little? Sorry, give me a second. All right, thank you. Trustee Dopplemore?
No discussion, please.
Trustee Calhoun?
No discussion.
See, no discussion. If we could do your virtual voting, board members.
That's a unanimous yes vote.
Moving on to item 17.02, Administrative Services Grant California Community Colleges Award Notification for Rising Scholars Network request for application number ESS-22-200-009. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
It's been moved by Trustee Ramos and seconded by Trustee Calhoun. Do we have any discussion? Trustee Ramos?
No discussion.
Trustee, Dr. Little. And Trustee Dopplemore.
No discussion.
Trustee Calhoun.
No discussion.
All right, see no discussion. Board members, if you can cast your virtual vote.
That is a unanimous yes vote.
Moving on to item number 18 for board policies and administrative regulations, Dr. Curry.
Okay, so, I wanted just to, at the last board meeting, item 18.01, trustee Calhoun asked for this item be brought back to the board for a request to review and discuss board policy 2360. And so I would turn over to trustee Calhoun regards to this item.
Well, thank you so much. I'd just like to say that the minutes, I'm looking right at her and I know her name and it just flew out of my head.
Sylvia.
Our minutes taker, I'm sorry.
Sylvia.
This is good. I like the way the minutes are. They have improved and she has put more detail in it. And so it's going along fine. That's all it was about the details, so that years from now, somebody did it, whether it was recorded or whatever, somebody could go back and see the reason and why the decision was made to do the things that we did. And I think that's very important. And Sylvia, I want to thank you for an excellent job in doing the minutes and putting more depth into it. Thank you very much. You came into a job, you know, there's nothing that you have been doing. You came into it. So I probably blindsided you. I do apologize, but I want to thank you for really putting all this information in so that we can always go back. Thank you so much for your endeavors and your help. Thank you.
And the other policies are policies for review for the board. And I can go to information item when you're ready.
Board members, before we move forward, do we have any comments or discussion? Trustee Ramos,
I do not, thank you.
Dr. Little, Trustee Dopplemore,
No comments or discussion.
and Trustee Calhoun.
No comments or discussion.
Moving on to item number 19 for information items, Dr. Curry.
Yeah, I just want to highlight a couple of the information items for tonight's board meeting. One is the update on Oliver W.E. Connor Estate. There's just a lot that's happening with the state. Hopefully the board have a chance to review the update on that one. Also 19.08, there's been a lot of work been done with the foundation. And we have an executive committee that's been meeting now. A lot of work has been done. And hopefully at a future board meeting, we can have the board chair for the board of directors chair for the foundation to present. But they've been doing a lot of work the last 6 months. And there's an update in your packet on that. Also want to highlight for you something that's very important is item number 19.19 regards to our irrevocable trust. Just want you to know the stock market is very volatile right now, and you're starting to see there's been a decline in the amount of money that's in our trust. I'm trying to be as patient as possible, but I'm monitoring it even closely right now. And so I just want to make sure the board is aware of where we're at regards to our OPEB and also our PERS and STIRS money that we have set aside. And then also want to provide, there's an update on staffing. And then item number 19.24 is our update status report on the call to action and our response to the call to action. And so I was very impressed the last couple of weeks when I had a chance to review the responses. We have got a lot of work completed as it relates to the call to action and what we want to do as an organization, but still a lot more work needs to be done. So I want to provide an update to the board that you have that in your packet. And that concludes my update from the information section.
Moving on to item number 20 for future agenda items, Dr. Curry.
Yeah, it's up to, if the board has any future items, 20.01, please let us know. But we also will come back next month to talk about the final budget assumptions. And then also we'll be doing I'll have an update on the nursing program.
All right, moving on to item number 21, oral reports, Dr. Curry.
So I have a couple items I do want to mention in this oral report. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to the staff for the last couple of weeks. I was on vacation for 2 weeks and I came back to a lot of work, but the staff was able to maintain the operations. And I didn't receive any phone calls from board members during my vacation. So it was truly a vacation. I I do want to say thank you to the staff for their work for the last 2 weeks. I'm really excited about a couple of projects that we're working on. One thing that I've mentioned in my newsletter is about a pause, trying to just continue to improve the current programs we have and service we're providing. But there's one new project that I'm really focused on right now, which is a farmer's market that we're looking at opening in partnership with a couple of different organizations beginning in October. This will bring weekly visitors to the campus. We're able to use our American Rescue funds. Then we'll be able to purchase vegetables and fruits for our students who participate in the program. Also, students on CalFresh are able to maximize their dollars with CalFresh through the farmers market. So the goal is to open a farmers market in October. We see some financial commitments to support it. St. John's has committed $15,000 a year for the next 5 years to support this. And also Major League Baseball has committed $5,000 for this year. And we're working on their future years as well as relates to it. But it's a good opportunity for us to keep our campus open to the community, but also too, as it looks at basic needs, this is another way to address our students' basic needs. So I'm excited about that partnership. And also too, just to close it out, the next couple of weeks is going to be really busy. This Saturday, not only do we have the board training, but we also have the community event from 11 to 3 o'clock. I asked Heather right now to drop the flyer into the chat so people are able to see that. If you're able to promote on social media, I saw Bruce Boyded online. Hopefully he's able to retweet our stuff. But just to really put out there about this community event this weekend from 10 o'clock to 3 o'clock on our campus. And this is used as a vehicle to help increase enrollment. And that concludes my update.
Thank you very much. Moving on to Board of Trustees, Trustee Ramos.
No report. I'll see you all this Saturday at the board retreat online.
Dr. Little?
No report, just wanting to thank everybody for sharing all of the very important information and thank our staff and our administration and our faculty for continuing to work on behalf of our students. Thank you.
Trustee Dopplemore?
Yes, I do not have a report at this time. Thank you.
Trustee Calhoun?
Can I try my mic? Oops. First of all, yes, I attended a conference. It was the second annual CAPSI Institute. That is the California Association of Black School Educators. High school board members, college board members, CEOs, chancellors, superintendents, we all converged. And the title was Implicit Bias and the Systematic De-Education of Black Boys. This was a fantastic conference. We also had a presentation by our own Nicole Jones, woo woo, and Dr. Curry. They did a presentation.
I don't get a woo woo.
Oh, I'm sorry, woo woo. I'm sorry, woo woo. And I am so proud of the presentation that they did because they both had the data, however you say it. They had the data, they had everything on that slide, on that presentation. And they stunned, I wish more people had attended it, but for the ones that came in, they were stunned about what we did with our HERF dollars, our all the money that we got from the state, the federal. And when they talked about the students that received money for getting vaccinated, they were like, huh? And when Dr. Curry talked about the money from the state for housing, the federal dollars, they was like, huh? They was asking Dr. Curry, could he come to their school or their college and do that presentation? Dr. Curry just looked at him, I don't know if he told him yes or whatever, but you know, he doesn't get involved with how other colleges or schools use their money. He was letting them know what we at Compton College did with our funding. The food, the bills, everything that this college, the staff has worked on, the faculty has worked on, and what we did for our students during this pandemic and the things that we are still doing, they were floored because their schools did not do that. In fact, half the schools had not even touched the money that was given to them because they didn't know how to do it. They didn't know what to do with it. Except for, was that Linwood or Paramount? Linwood was there. Linwood, and very good, but this conference was fantastic. I say that because all nationalities attend, all nationalities attend. The thing that got me is when some of the speakers were speaking, and they talked about the grading, how we get, back in the day, we get A, B, C, D's, E, F and U's. And they were talking about the history that you have to remember way back in the day, we didn't get the chance to go to school. It was for Caucasian people. It wasn't for African Americans. And so the grading system was graded for the Caucasians. And as we started going to schools, remember, they wouldn't let us read. They couldn't teach us to read back in the days, slave days. So from the slave days on the way, if somebody was caught teaching us how to read, they got in trouble. So they were talking about the grading system is from way back then, and the grading system is still being used from when it was first established way back then, and nothing has changed. And they talked about how African-American students learn a different way. It is nothing wrong with our minds. We just learned a different way. So why should we use the same grading system that was used a long time ago when the grades were not for us because we weren't going to school? And then they talked about when they plant the crops, right? When they have to plant the crops, there's no school. Back in the day, there was no school because you needed them to plant and dig the crops up and all like that. And that's why there's no, and they say right now today, when school is out, our children's mind go back down because they're out for the summer or they don't go to summer school. And then when they come back to school, we have to put back in what they lost and add more to it. And they say, wonder what would happen if school was every day and there was no breaks or anything. What would happen? What would that do with the children's mind? How would they retain it and go on? And they say there are a lot of schools, charter schools, other schools, where they don't get a break. But this conference was good. And if anybody can pick up the Wave newspaper, it says right here, activists fight de-education of Black boys. And this is Makai Ali, the president of Compton Unified School Board of Trustees. And he's also the creator of CAPSI from years ago. And if you get a chance, pick up the Wave and read this article. This really opened my eyes up. They had different organizations like Bloom. And we were also able to get professional development for free. I can't think of the organization, but this Makai Ali talked to this company, Engine or whatever they were, about everybody that attended the conference getting credits for professional development. And so while we were there, they gave us you could scan it and you fill out the information. And so everybody that did this will be getting a certificate in the mail about taking a professional development class and it was given to us for free. And that was a big plus for a lot of individuals that were there, but this was one. They're gonna have another one next year, and it's gonna be about African-American females. This one was all about the young men, but it was all about Black and brown students. And they did a draft, I know I'm going on, they did a PowerPoint on all nationalities that were suspended from school. And the data shows that African-Americans are suspended more than any other nationality from schools for any type of reason whatsoever. I must say, I learned a lot more about the history, about the grading system and what's being taught and how African-Americans, we know it and we know it and we know it, but it's how they perceive us. So if there's a Caucasian teacher, male or female, and they're teaching, and the students walk into the room, and you see Johnny with dreads, you automatically think negative about Johnny. Or if Johnny or Susie, African Americans, lay their head down on the table and go to sleep, you don't question there could be something going on. What you do is you assume that Johnny is lazy because Johnny put his head down to get to sleep and you didn't think about what he's going through with his family, if he had to walk to school or whatever was going on. And he say, teachers are now learning how to, instead of just judging the student because of how they look, some teachers now are talking to their students individually to find out what's going on in their home life, if they need help, if they have food, they don't have enough to eat, or whatever it is. There are teachers out there that are really getting involved with their students' lives where everybody else is just judging them. And I could say more, but I don't want to belabor what's going on, but that was one fantastic conference to hear about how African-American males are treated because of how they look when they walk in that door. But if a Caucasian walks in that door and they're all dressed all nice or whatever, you have a different attitude and you talk to them real friendly. It was a dynamite. And they talked about racism. It's alive and well. We know about it. And it makes people uncomfortable when you talk about it. People don't want to talk about it because they don't think that they have any bias. And we all have bias. We all have bias, no matter what. We all have bias. And it makes people uncomfortable when you talk about it. So I'm glad I went to this conference. I'm looking for more to go, but just understand that there is bias, implicit bias, and systematic bias, and it's here, and there's no hiding from it. So stop judging your students when they walk in, just because they don't dress the way everybody else dressed, or their hair is not like your hair, or anything else. Learn your student. That's what it's all about. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Moving on to item 21.03, special trustee. Jean, are you on?
No, I have no report, but thank you.
No problem. Board members, we are on item number 22, the next regularly scheduled board meeting. It is August 15, 2022. Closed session does begin at 5. Open session begins at 6. It is 8:18 and this meeting is concluded.